She said yes. 3 words that used to mean something sacred. Now they just sound like a slogan for a jewelry commercial. The ring flashes, the crowd cheers, the hashtag rolls in. But nobody pauses long enough to ask the question that matters. Yes to what? To love? To duty? To content creation? Or just to the dopamine rush of public validation? Because we have turned one of the most serious decisions in life into a surprise event, as if a lifetime partnership should be a jump scare. Marriage used to be discussed, planned, prepared for. Now it's staged like a plot twist. We spend more time planning the photographer than the foundation, more time rehearsing reaction than rehearsing responsibility. The problem is not that people want romance, it's that they've confused romance with relevance. She doesn't need to be ready for marriage anymore, just ready for the moment. And he doesn't need to understand what commitment means, just how to get the right lighting at sunset when he kneels. Marriage today feels less like a covenant and more like a campaign, right? Vote for us, we are in love. The pictures are edited, right? The caption sounds spiritual, and the comment section becomes the congregation. But underneath the glitter, the fine print remains the same, right? Because two flawed humans trying to build stability on top of emotions. And emotion is the most unstable building material on earth. You don't see the seriousness in smiles anymore. Just performance. A collective amnesia that forgets this isn't a photo shoot. It is a legal, spiritual, emotional merger with consequences. Because let's be real, let's not lie and let's not steal. Nobody should be surprised by a proposal. You don't get surprised by a job you applied for. You don't get surprised by a contract you negotiated. So why are people shocked when asked to spend a lifetime together? Because modern love is less about compatibility. It's more about theater. We don't discuss, we debut, right? We don't build, we broadcast. And when the performance ends, everyone is confused about why the show did not last. She said yes used to be a promise. Now it's branding. It is the slogan for a $72 billion wedding industry that sells fantasy by the pound. The dress, the venue, the aesthetic, everything but substance. We have romanticized the performance and neglected the purpose, right? Because marriage is not supposed to make you feel special. It's not. Newsflash, it's not. It's supposed to make you grow. But growth is not glamorous. There's no filter for compromise. No slow motion replay for accountability. People say marriage is hard work. Like that's bad marketing. But that's the point. Anything designed to last requires maintenance. And most people today want delivery, not duty. They want a lifetime of loyalty without a day of discomfort. They want for better, but never for worse. They want partnership without participation. And when the fantasy fails, the delusion hits like a tax bill, something you signed for but never read. And it's not that marriage does not work anymore. No, not that. It's that we have stopped working. We started outsourcing emotional labor to convenience and calling it growth. The vows did not fail. Attention spans did. We used to measure commitments in decades. Now we measure it in engagement metrics. She said yes became shorthand for we are trending. But you cannot trend your way into trust. You cannot hashtag your way into humility. Let's talk function, not fantasy. Marriage is not romance. It's responsibility. It's a structure meant to stabilize two people in a chaotic world. Not cage them, not punish them, stabilize them. It's supposed to anchor your emotions so your legacy doesn't drift. That's what for better or worse means. Not blind loyalty, but shared navigation. But that version of marriage does not sell tickets. It doesn't get 1 million views. It doesn't look good on a timeline. So we replace purpose with presentation. The modern couple often falls in love with the idea of being in love. They want the identity, not the intimacy. They want the label, not the label. And when the label starts to peel, they panic because no one told them marriage wasn't designed to make you happy. Newsflash, it wasn't. It was designed to make you whole. And wholeness isn't painless. It's demanding. It exposes your impatience, your selfishness, your hidden fears. Marriage doesn't fix your wounds. It reveals them. And most people are not ready for that level of exposure. You can't expect a union to work when both parties are still auditioning, right? And that's what dating culture has become. A perpetual audition for validation. We have confused attraction for alignment, chemistry for compatibility, infatuation for intention. And when the mask fails, people say, I didn't know who they really were. No, you did. You just liked who they pretended to be while you were pretending to. She said yes. It sounds like the beginning of something beautiful, but half the time it's the beginning of disillusionment, not because love failed, no, but because we treated love like a festival, not a foundation. If you start with spectacle, you will always need attention to feel stable. That's why so many relationships end quietly, because they started loudly and bunched through all their authenticity in the pilot episode. Here's the irony. The happiest marriage rarely trend. They are not loud. They are not curated. They are built on daily decisions, not dramatic moments. They don't need validation because they have communication. They don't need the audience approval because they have built private accountability. And maybe that's the lesson, right? The quieter the yes, the louder the peace. If you're going to say yes with clarity, not choreography. Say yes to partnership, not performance. Say yes because you understand the function, not because you want to film the fantasy. Marriage is not a mystery box. It's a tool. And tools are only as strong as the hands that use them. Because if you can't build with it, don't brand it. Because the vows didn't fail. People do when they stop treating them like work worth doing. She said yes. That's a good thing. But what happens when life says no? When pressure hits, when attraction fades, when forgiveness feels harder than pride, that's when you find out what you really said yes to. Unless you really believe the ring guarantees the relationship. I'm out.